If you follow my channel, you know I love the Dell XPS 13, love the Dell XPS 15. I like all their consumer-based laptops pretty much, and I really like their offerings. But I also have my eye on their business-focused line, the Latitude line, of course. I reviewed a number of them this past year in 2019, but I wanted to check out one more as we start 2020, and there's a good reason. Not only is the next offering a great business offering for not only business users, but I think consumers will like it as well. It's got some epic battery life, it's got some really good performance, and it has a good price. I'm talking about the Dell Latitude 5400, and yes, this clamshell might be a good choice for both business users and consumers. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is my unboxing and review of the Dell Latitude 5400. Coming up. Want to see more videos like this? Why not hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that notification bell. This way you'll be alerted every time I post a new video. Make sure you follow me on my social media, especially Twitter and Instagram. I'll let you know when I post videos on those platforms as well. And in the interest of transparency and full disclosure, I'm not being paid by Dell, I'm not being sponsored by Dell. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own, and no one is seeing this video before its release. This review unit is on loan from Dell, and once this review is done, I am sending it back to Dell. The Dell Latitude 5400 has a starting price of $819, a very competitive price considering he's getting some really good specs. The review unit Dell sent over comes with a Core i5 with vPro and 8th generation processor, 512 gigs of SSD storage, and 8 gigabytes of RAM, and that comes in at $1,625 US. And with that out of the way, let's find out what you get inside the box. Let's open it up. You get a 90-watt power adapter with Dell's own proprietary connector. Now, holding the unit for the first time, I'm very impressed with the build, and I like its stealthy look. It has a really nice feel to it. Now, to get it this light, they went with a plastic chassis, although it's a very high quality, and it feels really sturdy as well. It's definitely not the thinnest or lightest, but it is definitely portable. Now, when it comes to the port selection, you won't be disappointed. Let's start off on the left side where you get your power port. Next to that is a Thunderbolt 3 port that supports data charge and display out. You get a USB-A 3.1 rounding out the left side. Moving over to the right side is the micro SD card reader. Below that is the SIM tray for the optional LTE, a 3.5mm headset jack, two USB-A 3.1 ports, an HDMI port, an RJ45 Ethernet port, and finally a Noble lock port. Dell makes it really easy to get inside this laptop to upgrade. Now, all you need to do is loosen the captive Phillips head screws, remove the bottom plate, and you're in. Once inside, you'll notice that 68 watt-hour battery. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Now, the RAM is socketed in, so you can upgrade that, which I love to see. And the Wi-Fi card is also swappable, although you do get some very good range with good uploads and downloads. And they make it really easy to add wireless internet with LTE. Notice the space for that modem. And I like the fact that the SSD can be swapped out as well, allowing you to add more storage. And speaking of storage, you have the option of getting this with a hard disk drive. Although you do get very good reads and writes with the included SSD. Now, when it comes to the display, there are a few options. There's a 720p option, which I'd steer away from, and then there's a 1080p non-touch, and what I have here, a touch option. It's a 1920 by 1080. It's almost a matte display, but not totally matte. Now, at only 228 nits, it's definitely not the brightest display, but because it's a matte, non-glossy display, you're going to be able to read it indoors and outdoors, although I would like to see it a little bit brighter. And as you can see, the Latitude line are not the brightest of displays, but they're good displays nonetheless. And at only 63% sRGB and 47% Adobe RGB, not the greatest choice for the creative professional that does Lightroom, Photoshop, or even video editing, but for everyday use, this display is certainly good. Consuming media, watching Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, and the like are fine on this display. And I love the fact that the screen can go all the way back, as you see here, giving you the perfect viewing angle each and every time. Now, I love the keyboard on the Latitude 5400, good tactile feedback, good key travel, very comfortable to type on, great for getting work done with Microsoft Office and productivity work in general. It has a multi-stage backlight that allows you to get work done in a dark room or a dimly lit environment. That's always good. Now when it comes to the touchpad, it has physical mouse buttons, it uses precision drivers, very responsive, great for two-finger scrolling, which was buttery smooth, and all the Windows 10 gestures worked as advertised. Good job on that front. And just like the ThinkPad line, this has a track pointing device that I actually really do like. This worked really well. So this is the front-facing camera on the Dell Latitude 5400. It's a nice clamshell, business-focused laptop, no nonsense, with great battery life. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But as far as this camera is concerned, a 720p 30 frames per second webcam, and it's also a Windows Hello compatible webcam. That means it's an infrared webcam, allowing you to log in with face recognition. I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know in the comments section below. Now I love the fact that there's a privacy switch allowing you to turn off the webcam, giving you more security and privacy. Gone are the days of having to put tape over the webcam. And the power button doubles as a fingerprint scanner, letting you log in with Windows Hello, registering my finger every time I used it. Now when it comes to performance, you won't be disappointed. The Dell Latitude 5400 is great for productivity work, doing Microsoft Office, email, web browsing, consuming media, watching Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, and the like. It's also good for light occasional gaming if you play some of the older titles when you lower the settings, but any of the AAA titles on their highest settings, you can forget about it. This is not a dedicated gaming laptop, that's for sure. But you can play Windows Store games and again, older titles if you lower the settings. And I thought Dell did a good job when it comes to the thermals, never getting above 95 degrees Fahrenheit or 35 degrees Celsius when I streamed my 15-minute HD video. That's pretty good. But where this device really shines is battery life. It did 13 hours and 46 minutes on my continuous web surfing test over Wi-Fi at 150 nits. That translates into all-day battery life. That's excellent. Now, if you do need to plug in, they do supply you with a 90-watt power adapter that uses Dell's own proprietary connector, but you could also charge via the USB-C Thunderbolt 3 port. It takes 2 hours and 12 minutes to give you a full charge. That's pretty good. The Dell Latitude 5400 has two bottom-firing speakers, and I would say they're decent, not great, not overwhelming either. They can fill up a medium-sized room, okay, and I would say volume is pretty decent as well. Not the best I've ever heard. Okay, let's wrap it all up. Can I recommend the Dell Latitude 5400? Is this no-nonsense business laptop worth your money? And I would have to say the answer is yes. If you are that road warrior that needs all-day battery life and needs to get productivity work done, this is your ticket. I like its really great keyboard, especially for typing for long periods of time. Great for Microsoft Office and the like. I like the fact that you're going to get really great battery life out of this. You're going to get 13 plus hours, maybe even more, depending on what you're doing. Now, there are a couple of negatives, of course. It's a relatively dim display, a really uninspired design, but again, this is a business laptop, so it's not really focusing towards the consumer. And there's no dedicated GPU option, but that's okay. This will get the work done. This is a no-nonsense approach, and I think Dell certainly has come through here. I'm going to give this a score of 79%, making the Dell Latitude 5400 worth your money. So what do you think about this bad boy, the Dell Latitude 5400? Okay, let's get a couple of things straight. Number one, this is plastic, but it's a high quality plastic nonetheless. And it also has a pretty nice feel. Good build quality, so rest assured it's a good product in terms of build. Now, as far as performance, this has the 8th generation Intel processors. We're anticipating 10th generation coming up very soon, so we'll check that out once V Pro is available as a 10th generation processor, of course. As far as the display, well, it's not the greatest display in the world, but it's definitely functional. It's definitely good enough for everyday use. You're going to be able to watch Netflix, Amazon, YouTube on it, no problems. It's also good for productivity work. We're using this for Microsoft Office, email, web browsing. This will get the job done. Now, as far as battery life is concerned, that's where this really shines. I'm really happy. I got 13 hours and 45 minutes or so on this, which is excellent battery life, of course. And that's a theme we've been seeing with the Latitude line this past year. So that's really good. Now, I'm also happy the thermals are good in this. It's got some nice heat vents on the bottom, on the side. So everything is cooling rather good. Now, as far as price is concerned, with a starting price of $819, that'll get you the Core i3. Bump up a little bit more to $1,000 or $999 to be specific. You're going to get the Core i5. Now, this version is the Core Core i5 with V Pro, so you get a little bit enhancements there. But as far as performance, it's absolutely good. But I think right now this is a good deal, considering you're getting this at a great price, good performance, good build quality, everything you'd want, decent display, great battery life. I think this checks the bill if you're the road warrior. But I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know in the comment section below. And starting this week, I will begin my coverage of CES 2020 here in Las Vegas. I have a lot of meetings set up. I'm invited to a lot of press events, and I'm going to get an early look at a lot of exciting stuff. I've been under NDA on some stuff, so you will find out exactly what I've been up to and what's upcoming. So make sure you follow me on Twitter, Instagram. I'll post updates on those platforms. And of course, make sure you subscribe to my channel for continuing coverage of CES 2020. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course my website, AMDtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMDtech. See ya. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is the blah 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 blah. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is the Dell Latitude 5400 coming up. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is my unboxing and review of the the Dell Latitude 5400. Oh man, it's coming up.